Hey guys, it's Tasha. Welcome to my channel. So this is my client's before here. What she wanted, she went and seen someone else before she seen me. She actually wanted more of like solid blonde ends, nice and bright, and then at the scalp to the mids, she wanted more of her natural blending into the blonde on the bottom so that she could go longer in between visits and have nice bright blonde ends but not have the maintenance of having a line of demarcation or having the stripiness of highlights to the scalp. So I'm fixing that today, and this is her before. You can see it's stripy, and it's not gonna have a nice grow out that she wants. So right now I'm just starting at the back. The entire back of her head, they didn't even touch, which she wanted all of her, pretty much most of her blonde, her ends blonde. So now I have to go in and lift pretty much the whole back of her head. So I'm gonna be doing teasy lights because it's a great way to lift a bunch of hair but still have it blend and not be too solid. So I'm going to do teasy lights. So right now I'm going to be alternating between slices and weaves because I want it pretty much solid, but I still want to leave a touch of dimension in there. So I'm just taking some slices right now, and then I'm back combing just to diffuse the line so that we're not going to have a solid line. And then the key to any highlights really is saturation. So as you can see, I'm saturating the crap out of her hair, and then I am feathering up just so that I am blending it even more. It's just another extra step that you can do when you're doing teasy lights just to make sure it's blended even more. And I'm just going side to side as I work my way up her head. And then, like I said, some of the teasy lights I will be doing leaving a little bit of a dropout, and some I will be doing the full slice. The back of her head is all her natural, about a level 6 brown. So I am just putting the bleach on the entire thing. I don't have to be careful of any overlapping or anything like that because it is all her natural. She hasn't had the back underneath highlighted in a very long time. So yeah, I will be just saturating and working my way up the head, and then once I get to the top and I start getting into the existing blonde, then I'm going to explain what I will be doing there. Also, I am using these foam papers, which I usually always use to do my highlights or any blonding techniques, even low lights, but today I was running out, so I will be alternating between foils and these foam papers, which you could use either or. I just prefer the foam papers because it's faster and easier instead of spending more time folding the foils up and all that. You can just fold it once and they stick and they are great. They do not slide or slip out like foils tend to do sometimes, so that's just what I use. But yeah, that's why I'm alternating between both of them in this video today, because I was running low on the foam papers. But you could use either or, they both work awesome. Also, another thing that you can do to help blend any lines and make everything seamless as possible is when you're taking your sections, you can zigzag your sections, which I didn't do in the past few sections. But as I move up my way up the head, you're going to see me doing zigzag partings or zigzag sections as I go, and that just is another extra added step, again, just to make sure that everything blends and is seamless. And yeah. So while I work the way up the back, I'm pretty much just going to be doing the same thing all the way up till I get to the top where the existing blonde is. So I'm just going to stop talking now, and I'm going to let you guys just watch the video. And once I get up to the top where the existing blonde is and I'm going to have to change what I'm doing, I will hop back on and let you guys know what I'm doing. Alright, so now we are at the top, and as you can see, I am starting to run into the hair that has previous highlights in it. So now I'm just thinking about what I'm going to do to tackle this and the best way to keep the integrity of her hair, because obviously I'm going to have to do some overlapping to fix this. And yeah, so right now I'm just taking a peek and trying to figure out what I'm doing. So I decided that I'm going to actually just start off at the front around her face with her money pieces, just because I want to get those nice and bright. So I'm going to be just doing very fine money pieces all the way around her face, and then once I finish those, then I'm going to jump into the rest of the hair. Alright, so now I'm going to be tackling the rest of the hair. I'm just doing, as you can see, the zigzag parting so that I can make sure everything is nice and blended. And the first step that I'm doing now, and that I've been doing this whole time so far, is I'm worrying about the blonde. And then once I do all of the blonde, after that is when I'm going to let that process, and then I'm going to rinse and then go back in and do the toner, and then I'm going to be doing the reverse balayage. So I'm just continuing doing teasy lights on the whole head now because she has so much brown and blonde mixed in, and we are needing to lift a lot of that brown, and we are also needing to lift the current blonde she has to a higher level. I'm going to have to just overlap and do a teasy light on the whole section, and then after that's processing, that is when the most important part comes in, where I'm going to have to open the foils and check the foils, and where the blonde was already blonde before and we were only needing 1 or 2 levels of lift, I'm going to have to take those ends out and spray those and put conditioner while leaving the bleach on the ends that were brown that are needing to get all the way to a level 10. So it's very time consuming, but you have to do that and keep checking so that you can keep the integrity of the hair. You cannot just let everything process and rinse it all at the end together, because obviously her natural hair that's a level 6 is going to take a lot longer to get from a level 6 to a level 10, as opposed to the existing blonde that's already a level 8-9 that only has to lift 1 or 2 levels. So that is why you have to keep back and keep checking back, and once the blonde that's already a level 8-9, once it gets to a level 10, you have to wipe that out and put conditioner and then let the rest process. Yeah, you cannot skip that step. I know it's time consuming and it can be a pain, but you have to do that in order to keep the integrity of the hair. And that is also why I'm not doing a reverse balayage at the same time as I'm doing the blonde, and I'm deciding to do it in 2 different steps so that I can be as careful as I can with the blonde. And also because I want the reverse balayage to last, I am going to be, once I rinse this off, I'm going to be toning it, and then I'm going to be drying the hair and doing the reverse balayage on dry hair so that I can see exactly where I need to paint the brown, and when it's done on dry hair, it's going to last longer and it's going to be done more precise on dry hair. So that's why I'm doing it in so many steps. Yeah. And I know it can be a scary thing to overlap blonde, but in certain situations you have to do that if you want to get them brighter and blonder, which is what she wants. So yeah, her blonde is about a level 8-9 and she wants to be at least a level 10. So in order to do that, there's no other way to do it than to overlap. So all you have to do is be very careful. Like I said earlier, I'm using the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf in 20 vol, and that has a built-in bond enforcer. So that's going to help protect her hair, and then also the biggest thing to keep the integrity of her hair is to just keep monitoring it. There's no set time or specific time that you have to wait. You just have to keep checking and looking back and doing strand tests to see if the hair is still intact. And so yeah, you just open the foils, you check if it's not a level 10, you do an elasticity test, and then you can leave it in longer. And you just keep checking until it's at your desired length, and then you can just spray it, wipe it, put conditioner, and leave that until the rest is processed. Alright, so as you can see, I've finished the foils, and now I'm going back to the first foil I did on the top where I had to overlap, and I'm checking, and because it only needed to lift a couple levels on certain parts, the parts that were already lifted, I wiped off, I put conditioner while leaving the rest of the bleach on in that foil so that it could finish processing where it needed to, and then yeah, so here again, just pushing out the blonde ends or the pieces that are already to the desired length, wiping it off, putting conditioner, and then folding the foil back up while making sure to leave those ends out so that the rest of the blonde and the rest of the hair in that foil can keep lifting to the desired length. And also, if there is any spots that need a little more saturation or they need a little bit of a boost, you can also reapply to those spots as well while you're already having the foils open and doing that as well. And honestly, doing this extra step is what is one of the big reasons and what is going to set you apart from other hairstylists. Most hairstylists, or I know a lot of hairstylists, don't take this extra step to do stuff like this to keep the integrity of the hair. They may just leave everything in and then just wash it all at the end, and then if you have damage or your hair's fried in spots, they'll just say, oh, that's the way it has to be if you want to go blonder. But honestly, it doesn't have to be like that. If you take this extra step and be extra careful with this hair, instead of just blasting the crap out of it, is gonna make a huge difference, and your clients are gonna so appreciate it. So now everything's processed and ready to go. I'm just going to rinse everything out, and then I'm going to tone her right after I rinse it, and then after I tone her, I'm going to dry it and then start on the next step of the reverse balayage. So in order to keep this process as clean and precise and perfect as possible, I am going to be putting a foil in between each section so that I don't paint on the section underneath, because I don't want any spots or splotchiness on any of the blonde. So I put a foil in between each section, and then I can just paint down wherever I think that it needs, and then I can just put a foil on top and work on my next section without worrying about ruining any of the blonde underneath that section. So as you can see, I'm just painting. I'm doing kind of random, but wherever I think needs it, just to break up the blonde and get rid of those lines of demarcation and the stripiness. Sometimes it's going to be a W pattern, and sometimes it's just going to be upside down V. Whatever you think, just make sure that you're saturating. And I am using a level 6 in the shades EQ. I think I'm using a 6N here. And I left it on for the full time that it requires, just so that I can get the longevity of this. And like I said, so yeah, I'm just doing it on dry hair so that I can be more precise, and we are just doing this so that we can get rid of the line of demarcation, so that it's going to be a much easier grow out, no stripiness. It's going to blend with her natural so she can go longer in between visits. Another reason why I'm doing this on dry hair is so that we can still have some of the bits of blonde coming up higher and then have some bits of brown coming lower. We don't want a solid line. Even of the brown, we don't want a solid line. So by doing it dry, I can paint some higher, some lower, have some blondes coming higher, and then have some browns going lower, so that it again is a nice blended look and not too solid of either color. And of course, everyone has their own way of doing things, their own techniques, and that's fine. Whatever works for you, that is awesome. I just wanted to share with you guys what we did today, just so that I could show you how we achieved her beautiful results. Look how beautiful her results turned out. Oh my goodness. So we completely got rid of all the stripiness, the line of demarcation. We brightened up all of her ends to beautiful blonde, and now she can go much longer in between visits, and she is ready for summer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or anything, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching.